Welcome to Linda's Corner. My name is Linda Bjork. For today's episode, I will be sharing an excerpt from one of my books called You Got This, An Action Plan to Calm Fear, Anxiety, Worry, and Stress. With all the disturbing current events we're facing, people all around the world are experiencing overwhelmingly high levels of stress right now. I feel strongly about the need to help empower people to be resilient and able to handle their problems. You Got This is a thoroughly researched, easy-to-read, well-designed action plan to calm feelings of fear, anxiety, worry, and stress, with a wide variety of proven cognitive behavioral therapy techniques that empower people to regain a sense of peace and control in their lives. You Got This will show you how to decrease stressors, increase coping skills, increase confidence, increase resilience, and find solutions to your problems. The book is available in paperback and ebook formats on Amazon. Today's excerpt highlights one of the many tools shared in the book. These tools are part of the section of the book called Daily Action Steps. If we want to make positive changes in our lives, then learning new information simply isn't enough. Change requires action. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but there is no other way. However, it doesn't have to be hard, overwhelming, or take a lot of time. Rather than expecting someone to completely overhaul their lives overnight, these action steps are broken down into small, bite-sized pieces that are simple and short, so that they can be completed by real people who are living real lives. It's going to be okay. You got this. The purpose of today's action step is to learn how to use a social support diagram in order to be able to get the help and support that you need. Sometimes when we're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, we feel like we're carrying the whole world on our shoulders and we're totally alone. However, even though we might feel like we're alone, that's often not really the case. There is a difference between our perception of social support and the actual support available. There are different kinds of support that we might need. Emotional support is someone with a listening ear who will show compassion and empathy. They provide companionship and a sense of belonging. This might include friends, family members, significant others, co-workers, clergy members, or others. Some people include their pets in this category. Animals can provide wonderful emotional support. Another kind of support is informational support. Informational support is someone who can give you good advice or help you work through your problems. Sometimes that's a friend or family member, but sometimes we turn to professionals like doctors, lawyers, or accountants for informational support. The internet is also a frequently used resource to search for answers. Another kind of support that we might need is practical support. Practical support is tangible and includes an action of some kind. If I don't have food, clothing, or I can't pay my rent, a listening ear is nice, but I also need practical support of some kind. I need food, clothes, money, or a solution of some kind. Practical support might include someone who's willing to tend your children, or drive you to a doctor's appointment, or help with food or rent. Sources of practical support might include family members, church, community, or government resources. Practical support is best used as a temporary scaffold to support you while you're building something great inside, rather than using it as a permanent crutch. Always work towards self-reliance, and then eventually you'll be in a position to pay it forward and help the next person who needs a helping hand. We're going to draw a picture. to visually represent the resources in your support network with a diagram that looks something like a solar system, with your name in the center and a few concentric rings. We're going to write in the names of friends, family members, significant others, as well as other resources, including church, community, and government resources on the diagram. Those people and resources that you feel close to you will be listed within the inner circle. Those that you are a little less comfortable with are placed in the outer circle. And those resources that exist, but you aren't likely to ask them for help, can be outside the rings somewhere. After listing the people and resources, I want you to think about what kind of support they might be able to provide. Can they help with emotional support, informational support, or practical support? On your chart and diagram, place the letters E for emotional, I for informational, or P for practical next to each of these resources. Here's an example from the Granola Days story in the introduction. If you recall from the introduction the story of our granola days, where we were so poor that we only had granola to eat for breakfast and lunch and dinner, and then our landlady raised the rent, I'm going to use that example for something to fill out this chart. During this time, even though we felt totally alone, if we mapped out our resources, we actually had several people and places where we could go to get some help. We had our parents who could provide emotional, informational, or practical support. We had friends who could provide emotional support. We had siblings who could provide emotional or informational support. There were church resources that could provide informational or practical support, and government programs which could provide practical support. On my diagram, I put my parents and friends on the inner circle, and siblings, government, and church resources more on the outer ring because I wasn't as comfortable going to them for help. By creating a visual picture in this social support diagram, it can help a person feel like they're not alone and help to be able to develop a plan for what to do to get help. I hope you have enjoyed this excerpt from my book, You Got This, An Action Plan to Calm Fear, Anxiety, Worry, and Stress. I feel strongly about the need to help empower people to be resilient and able to handle their problems, so I will continue sharing excerpts from the book in other episodes of Linda's Corner. In closing, I would like to share a quote from Diane Donovan, senior reviewer at Midwest Book Review. She says, "You got this, an action plan to calm fear, anxiety, worry, and stress provides self-help readers with a concrete course of action to reduce stress and anxiety." See you next time on Linda's Corner.